Okay, good morning everyone. This week we will be talking about the ownership structure of business, different business forms. So we have been talking about the businesses, right? And we have been talking about how to manage them, how to build up some strategies, what are some characteristics of businesses, right? These kind of things we have discussed up to now. And in this chapter, we will be talking about what forms of business exist, what forms of ownership structures exist in businesses, okay? There is no one single form as applying for all corporations, all firms. There are very different structures of businesses, okay? Some of the businesses are very small. Actually, last week we have mentioned about them, micro enterprises, small and medium enterprises, right? These kind of small businesses are different than big corporations. So their structures, their forms also different. Okay. The first form is sole proprietorship. Hard to pronounce it for us, but it means that a business just owned by one person, okay? It may have more than one employees, but it is the easiest way of forming a business. You can think about this as micro enterprises who open up their business. A few people is working for them and they own the business, okay? This is sole proprietorship. What are the advantages of this, owning your company by yourself? So it's very easy to establish these kind of companies because there is not much legal complexes or legal structure is very easy. You go to a trade association in your city and you apply. I will open up my company. I will open up my cafe, restaurant, store, anything, and you are independent. I mean, you decide your own thing. I mean, only you are the boss of your company. Secrecy, you can keep your secrets. I mean, when there is more than one owner of a company, it could be a problem, right? For example, you have a new innovative thing. Tolga, what did you ask? I didn't understand. What did I change? Slides?
You cannot see the slides. The screen is stupid, I think.
The screen, you cannot see the screen.
Yes, we see slide number 18 now.
Slide number 18.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yes,
now
yes.
Now it is okay?
Yes.
Okay. How is it now? Can you see slide number 3?
Yes, I can see.
Okay. Why Teams is doing that, but sometimes it's also mixed. Okay. If you can see you can see the advantages of having your own business, right? And it has a tax advantage as well, because when you own your own company, for example, you can declare your own private spendings as a cost into your business. What do I mean by that? Normally, for example, you need to distinguish your private life with your corporation, yeah, right? I mean, you are paying some rents, you are paying some, for example, you are buying some stuff for your house, but you cannot declare them as a cost to your company. It is not related to the company, right? However, in this kind of businesses, if you just own the businesses, it means that you form in Turkish as şahıs adi şirket, okay? So your spendings could be declared as a cost. So it provides you a tax advantage as well, because your costs are deducted from your revenues, and then you will pay the tax, okay? What kind of disadvantages it has, by the way? The limited profit potential. Some of your friends said I cannot join the class, but I don't know why. There are 177 people. Maybe it takes some time. Khan said something. I don't know why. If any one of you know, please help your friends, okay, to join the class. So what are the disadvantages of this kind of ownership? It has a limited profit potential because you are using only yourself, and you may not get your business bigger and bigger, right? You may face some managerial problems because it's not professional. Everything you need to deal with. You need to deal with finance, you need to deal with accounting, you need to deal with production, you need to deal with sales, everything you need to deal with. So sometimes maybe you are not able to do that, right? If things get bigger and bigger. And you have an unlimited liability because, for example, if your businesses have a debt, okay, have a debt to a bank or have a some credit you take, you need to pay it yourself in these kind of companies. This we call it is unlimited liability. If you fail your business, for example, you need to personally pay the costs of that businesses, personally pay the borrowings of that business. Okay, this is we call unlimited liability. I mean, but in big corporations, you have a limited liability with the amount of your stocks. For example, you own 5% of some corporation, okay, and that corporation have lots of borrowings, lots of debts, but you don't need to pay the debts, okay? You are not liable, you are not responsible from that debts. Only you have a limited liability with your stock, okay? I mean, you can lose at the worst scenario, you can lose your stocks prices. Other than no one come to you and ask the prices, ask the costs of the company, borrowing of the company. Ahmed, your question is a specific law question. I don't know exactly. In some cases, yes, but according to different forms of businesses, how this apply, I don't know actually. Okay. Yes, partnership. Partnership when there is more than one people who manage a company. Okay, we call it a partnership, and they share the profits and losses of the business, and they also share the management responsibilities. So, what kind of different partnerships exist, right? In general partnership, all partners are legally equal and liable for debts. What does that mean? For example, you are 5 friends, you decided to open up a company, you decided to open up a cafe, let's say, and you say that we will form a general partnership form of business, okay? So all of us have 20% of share of the company and equally liable for our debts. So let's say one of your friends just dumped you, and he actually took the money of the company, let's say 1,000 Turkish lira, and ran away, okay? And he actually borrowed it from a bank in the name of the company. Let's say he borrowed it from a bank and in the name of the company, and he fled away. So you other 4 partners are equally responsible to pay that debt, okay? You cannot say that I only own 20% of the company and I want to pay only 20% of that debt. You are responsible from all of the debt together. So if the bank, whoever the bank finds, just take their money back from them. They have the right of it because a general partnership. In general partnership, you have an unlimited liability. Okay. In limited partnership, there are 2 different partners. Okay. One of them, one or more people are general partners, and they run the business. They are liable of the debt, and the remaining partners are limited partners, and they are passive investors. Their liability is limited to the amount of their original investment. Okay, Imagine our example again. Let's say that one of your friends say that I will open a restaurant. Do you want to be a partner with me? You say that, okay, I can give you money. I can be your partner, but I cannot deal with the management. I mean, I want a limited partner responsibility. So, for example, if this partner, if this friend of yours just fail the business, and if he make debts of millions, okay, you are not responsible from that. I mean, you just lose your initial investment money. No one can ask you to pay my money back, okay? Zeynep, cooperation, we will come to corporations. Corporations are bigger companies. These are generally limited partnership. General partnership is the companies who have less than 50 people, okay? We generally call them partnership. If they are more, generally they turn into a corporation. Yes, and general partners are equally liable for debt, but for limited partners, liability is limited to the amount of investment. What kind of advantages can we mention about partnership? So partnership is also easy to form, easy to establish. Profits are taxed as personal income, not at the corporate rate. A partnership has greater profit potential because of pool talents. By the way, this is the United States law, okay? This partnership. In Turkish business forms, it's somehow different. You will see in your, most probably in your business law classes, the forms of and the legal structure of the businesses. He says, for example, we have şahıs şirketi, limited şirket, anonim şirket, and they have general partnership, limited partnership, and somehow they are close to each other, their structure. But for example, here it says profits are taxed as personal income, not at the corporate rate. It says in partnership. I don't know which kind of a corporation is in Turkey. When you make a partnership, it's a good thing because you are more people, more talented people, right? Some of your friends could be good at engineering. Some of your friends could be good at management. Some of them know about finance. So you don't need to deal with all the management responsibility yourself. You can distribute the responsibilities between yourself, right? And credit rating is also more than the others because you can raise more money easily. I mean, when you run your business by yourself, only depending on your own talents, maybe the credit givers like banks or investors may think that maybe you cannot deal with that, right? But you have a good partnership, you have talented partners in your company, you can find money easily as well. And partnership may have a longer lifespan as new partners can replace retiring ones. This is also important. I mean, you can always find new partners in ongoing business, right? Someone brings some money, some amount of money, and be a partner of you. What kind of disadvantages a partnership has? Active partners have unlimited liability. This is a disadvantage for the active partner, because let's say if the company bankrupted, it has millions of Turkish liras debts. They need to pay them themselves from their personal incomes, personal revenues, personal bank accounts maybe. And also there is the potential for interpersonal problems. It's a very common thing. When a company becomes successful, generally partners begin to fight with each other, right? Because there is money, they want to share it. Some of them says, okay, I am working more than you, I am taking more risk than you, why we are sharing this at the same, this kind of problems actually occurs a lot. And a large partnership sometimes, if there are more people, could have a competitive atmosphere as well, right? The partners could fight with each other, could form different things to each other. And actually in daily businesses, if there is more than one partner, more than one boss, the business's daily operations also affected, because sometimes different partners could order different things, right? And workers may have a difficulty to which one to follow. This is also a very common problem. A partnership agreement is a written legal document that defines the contractual requirements, contractual conditions, right? What are the partners' rights? What are their responsibilities? Like how they will make a profit division between themselves? How they make decision making? Okay. Yes, please mute yourselves. And how they dispute some resolutions, how they contribute to the business. And all of these details actually are written in these partnership agreement forms. It's not required by law, but it is wise to consult an attorney to develop one. I mean, since it's a legal document, if it is better to take a professional view in here. I mean, an attorney and advocate could help you to develop one. And now we move on to corporations. A corporation is a legal entity with the power to own property and conduct business. Corporation's legal status and obligation exist independently of its owners. This is important. I mean, now actually this is in partnership and in sole proprietorship. When you own your own business, your business is dependent on you. Okay, it's not a separate entity from you. I mean, whether on the partners or yourself as one manager, one owner, you are equal to the company. Okay. However, when you build up a corporation, this entity is independent from you. You just are the owner of the company, but the company have a power to conduct business, have a power to own property. For example, you will buy a car, okay? You can say that this is the corporate car. I mean, the corporation can have the car. Legally, corporation can own that car, okay? Different from you. I will explain this in detail. These are the some characteristics of corporations. So in corporation form, you can have as many as shareholders in your company, okay? Many investors can have. And you can make bigger businesses. You are protected by your limited liability. You are not responsible from all of the debts of the company, right? As investors, but the company is operated by some professionals. Okay, there's a professional board of directors, professional CEO team, CEO, top managers. They make the decisions. Okay. In behalf of the investors. Most of the investors maybe do not know how to do that business. They just provide the finance of that company. And they don't involve in the daily operations, right? This top management professional team do that. And there is a relation between the shareholders and the top managers, okay? These are different in corporations. In the previous forms of partnership and sole proprietorship, shareholders and owners, shareholders and managers are the same ones, okay? In corporations, however, shareholders are different, top management are different. Shareholders, they only decide some big decisions, okay, like assigning the top management, selecting the CEO, selecting the financial officer, chef, for example. These kind of big decisions they did, and they don't intervene in any daily operations. And corporations have an unlimited span and ability to raise funds. I mean, corporations actually are bigger, they can make bigger businesses. So, let's look at their characteristics one by one to understand them better. First of all, we talk about sole proprietorship. One owner has complete control on the company. Profits and losses are taxed at individual rates. Every individual give their income taxes, okay, in this kind. The loss risk is on the owner, unlimited liability, and it's very easy to set up this company. General partnership, two more owners with equal control, unless agreement says different. And profits are losses taxed at individual rates for each partner. Again, partners have unlimited liability. It is also easy to set up. Limited partnership, ownership does not participate in the management. profits losses taxed at the individual base for each partner again, and liable for the amount of their investments, the limited partners, right? They invest, let's say, 100,000 Turkish liras. They are just liable with that amount of their investment. I mean, they don't deal with other debts of the company. And it's same as the establishment partnership. What about corporation? Unlimited number of shareholders, okay? And ownership and management is a separate thing. Taxes are collected at corporate rate. I mean, one company at the end of the year, company declares an income, okay? Let's say Koç Holding declared an income of 100 million Turkish liras for 2020. And there's a corporate tax for them, 20%. It's paid. Then dividends are paid to the shareholders. What's a dividend? Dividend is a profit distributed to the shareholders. For example, you have a share in Koç Holding and they want to distribute a profit. They make a dividend payment. So they pay some amount of you according to your amount of share. Okay? Then when you take this share, dividend, you will pay your income again. Okay? You have a double taxation here, as you see. And the risk is on the management, not ownership. Ownership have a limited liability. It's very establishment is expensive, complex, and there are so many legal things in corporations. So, what is the difference between this ownership and the management? Let's talk about a little bit more. The corporation is owned by shareholders who are issued shares of stock in the return of their investments. Okay, I mean, if you have the stock of the company, okay, it means that you are a shareholder. Okay, so what is important here? What amount of shares do you have, right? For example, if you only have 1% of that company, maybe you don't have much to say in management. But if you have 50% of that company in your share, right, you can make decisions. You can make important decisions. You can force top management to make some different actions, right? There are different types of stocks, by the way. A common stock is a classification of that ownership with certain rights and opportunities for gain. For example, a common stock shareholder can vote. What is a vote? Every year, these shareholders come together and the top management declares them their operations, their performance. They say that, okay, we did this. We want to take these decisions, take these big decisions. What do you say, for example? Or in that yearly meetings, shareholders may think that we need to change this top management team and they need to vote, okay? If only they can have a vote, more than 50% of the shareholders, they can change the management, okay? It's the vote right of a stock is important then. And a common stock can receive dividend payments. I mentioned about this. After the income stated, company may decide that, okay, we want to distribute some dividend payment to our shareholders, okay? And they also may benefit from adjustments in the market value of their stock. What does that mean? If you are selling your stock in the Borsa Istanbul, let's say, okay? And when you, for example, you bought that company's stocks 5 years ago, and it was 10 Turkish liras per stock share, okay? After that, after they enter the Borsa Istanbul and their share price is going up, and your share price become 50 liras, right? Okay, so you enjoy the 40 Turkish lira increase in your stock price. That means the market value of that stock, right? It can increase, and when you can sell your stock, you may have a revenue out of that. What's a preferred stock? It's a stock that cannot vote. It does not have the right to vote, but they can get a priority claim on assets after the creditors and fixed return dividend on their investments. What does that mean? They can get their dividends before the common shareholders do. I mean, they get the payment. And the fixed rate of the dividend provides steady income. Yes. So let's say every year these preferred stocks are getting some payments, okay, small amounts of payments, dividend payments. And ownership could be public or private. The stock of a private corporation is held by only a few individuals and not publicly traded, okay? By public, we mean if people, common people can have a right access to buy that company, okay? Sometimes they are closed corporations, closely held companies. That it means that anyone in the public cannot buy that. But sometimes there are companies who are public corporations, which is available to the general public, and it's publicly traded. I mean, most of the Borsa Istanbul companies are that, like publicly traded. But there are some corporations, they are private. They don't let other people to buy their shares. So it's a different form of ownership between public and private. This is important. What do we mean by ownership and management, right? You see here, shareholders are the stock owners, okay? It could be thousands of people, okay? Thousands of people can buy a share of a publicly traded company, right? But they need to select a board of directors. Board of directors mean shareholders form a team, okay? Form a board of director team. They are representing the shareholders. They don't intervene into management, okay? But they represent the shareholders. Since it's impossible for every shareholder come together and take collectively decisions for the company, board of directors generally 5 to 10 people, okay, selected by shareholders, and they have a right to appoint the CEO. CEO means Chief Executive Officer. I mean, you may heard this many times, I think, CEO, this company's CEO, Elon Musk, CEO of Bill Gates, like these kind of things you can hear a lot. A CEO is the management team, okay? Daily operations are managed by this CEO team, CEO and its top manager team. And then he hires some employees, some managers, some middle level, low level managers to run the businesses. So it's important for you to understand at the left hand side, shareholders and board of directors are owners, okay? And they don't intervene in the daily operations of the company, but CEO are and other top managers, operational managers are responsible for the management of the company. Are we clear about this? Do you have any questions? What is the difference between a shareholder and a manager? I mean, sometimes in small companies, there is no distinction like that. In partnership, a shareholder is also the manager, operates the business, right? But in corporations, they are different. Yes, do you have a question? Someone raised their voice, but by mistake, I think. Okay, so this is the difference, okay? It's important. It could be an exam question as well for you guys. The difference between these two, a shareholder and a top management. So there is an important theory in management and organization. Okay, this is what we call an agency problem. Principal and agent are the terms of principal means shareholder, guys. Okay, shareholders are also said to be principals. Agents are the CEOs, the top managers. Okay, in corporate life, principals actually delegate their authority to their agents, right? To their top managers, to CEOs, and they let them to make their decisions in behalf of them, right? So it's a delegation of authority. So what could be a problem here? What kind of a problem here, right? So shareholders have an interest, okay? Shareholders want to maximize their profits, right? They want more income. I mean, they want a CEO to run their business in a way that they would gain more and more revenues. They would gain more profits, right? And at the end of the year, they look up their stock prices. they look up their dividends, they look up their company's growth rate, right? I mean, principals, shareholders on that. What about the CEO? What the CEO wants in personally, right? Economically, they have a salary, right? They have a salary, and they also want to maximize their own interests. They also want to maximize their own gains. So when shareholders delegate the authority to the CEO, to the agent, they don't actually control them every day, every action, right? They leave the company to a CEO, and they cannot know that what he is doing, right? And agency problem says that sometimes agents can act opportunistically, okay? They can act in morally immoral actions, like stealing from the company. For example, you hired a CEO, he actually stealing from the company, but you cannot realize that because you don't intervene into the daily operations. You are a shareholder, you are out of that business. You don't actually want to deal with that because of you assigning him that here, right? So what if that agent makes some bad decisions which costs for you shareholders, but which he benefits from them, right? We call it an agency problem because there could be a conflict of interest between of these two actors, okay? It's a very common problem in corporations, and this is actually the main issues of the corporate level management theories, okay? How to deal with this agency problem, how to control top managers, how to prevent them from doing some bad things, and how to maximize shareholders' interests, okay? So, this is, okay, there are some questions, let me answer them first. CEO is the CEO and entrepreneur? Not necessarily. Entrepreneur generally business startup, they found new companies, okay, by themselves, and generally entrepreneurs own their companies, and they usually in the first phases of their lives they usually form partnerships or small companies, okay, not big corporations. Entrepreneurs, chief executive officer is the top manager, okay. Chief operational officer is responsible from the operations. What do we mean by operations? Production, logistics, sales, everything, okay? Actually, chief executive officer is a top manager. Chief operational officer is here, and then chief financial officer is here. So it's actually COO is in the team of the CEO, okay? Halil İbrahim. So let's continue about how businesses can combine themselves, okay? Mergers, consolidations, acquisitions. Maybe you heard about these things of in your daily life as well. In Turkish we call them satın alma, birleşme, konsolide olma. So what are these? Sometimes companies want to buy other companies, okay? They want to form partnership with each other. How they can do that? First one is merger. If one company buys another company or a proportion of that company and becomes a controlling corporation, it becomes a merger, okay? Company A bought 60% of the company stocks of company B, that corporation. A consolidation is similar, but in this case you form a new company, okay? Company A and company B come together and they form a new company. Entirely new firm, company C occurs there. Acquisition is when company buys another company or part of another company by purchasing his voting stock. I will come to that point, okay? For example, one example in Turkey, you remember maybe it, Koç Holding and Yapı Kredi Bankası, they made a merger in 2005, okay? Koç Holding bought the 57% of the stocks of Yapı Kredi Bankası and become the running, controlling owner of that company, okay? It becomes the Yapı Kredi Bankası and Koç have a merger here. And what are the advantages of it? So when two companies come together, they can merge their talents, they can merge their resources, right? They can increase their market share, revenue, power, everything. But disadvantages also, sometimes there are problems between the cultures of that two companies, right? And some studies show that many of the mergers cannot achieve efficiency. Okay, this could be a disadvantage. Different forms of mergers: horizontal mergers, vertical mergers, and conglomerate mergers. A horizontal mergers, if you buy a company which is your complete direct competitor, direct rival. I mean, if Turkcell, for example, would buy Avea, and Türk Telekom recently its name changed, so it means a horizontal merger. They are rivals, okay? They are competing with each other or buying each other. Vertical merger, different phases of the same industry. I mean, different phases of the supply chain. Okay, if you want to buy your supplier, if you want to buy your buyer, if you want to buy one of your companies that you doing business with, right? So it means a vertical merger. And a conglomerate merger is unrelated businesses. For example, if IBM wants to buy the shares of Ford company, I mean, they're unrelated sectors. It's just an investment thing. We call it conglomerate. As you see here, a horizontal merger, similar companies, okay, come together in the same industry. We call it horizontal. A vertical merger, let's say there's a cotton supplier and textile manufacturer. These two companies, if they merge, because they are in the same supply chain, they are in the same industry, we call it a vertical merger. Sometimes the mergers be hostile. What does mean hostile? Hostility means like with bad intentions. Sometimes, for example, I don't want to sell my shares. I have a company, I have most of the shares of that company, but some other part of people want to buy that company. I don't want to sell it. And sometimes hostilely, they can use some strategies. One of them is tender offer. The offer to buy a certain number of shares at a specific price. For example, I have a struggle with you. For example, I have only 10% of the company, and the rest of you guys in our class have the 90% of the company. And I have a problem with one of the top managers, one of the CEOs. I want to change that CEO, but shareholders, board of directors, does not want to change. So what I need to do, I want to increase my shares. Namely, I want to have more than 50% of the company to make that critical decision and change the top management, change the board of directors, right? So what I am doing, I am offering you as a price. I want to buy your stock price at, let's say, $10. If you tender it to me, if you sell it to me, but only if a total of 1,000 shares I tendered to me, I will buy that stocks, okay? Otherwise, deal is off. Let me explain it a little bit more. Let's say each of you have only 100 shares, okay? 100 shares. And I want to buy 2,000 shares to be able to own 50% of the company. I am coming to you, I am asking you that I will buy your stock at that price, at a higher price generally, but I will buy it if every other of your friends also sell it to me, okay? So I make your deal tender with like that. I mean, I will buy at that price, that high price, but if only your other friends also sell it to me. So I create the kind of atmosphere here, okay, to force shareholders to sell their shares to me, and this is called a tender. Okay, if I cannot reach the required amount, I can say that, okay, I couldn't find that amount of stocks, I don't want to buy because it doesn't work for me. This is called a tender offer. What's a proxy fight? As you remember, some of the shares in that board of shareholders can have a right to vote, right? Can have a right to select the board of directors, who select the CEO then. Then some of the shareholders voting power, by using that, I want to change board of directors. I am like, I start a battle, a public relation battle for shareholders' votes. I say that, okay, this is enough. You are running the company very badly. And I am coming to you, okay, shareholders, please support me. Okay, please vote me. I want to be the top manager, or I want to be the board of directors here. I want to select a new company. I mean, similar to our political elections, okay? They talk with the shareholders, them to take their votes. This is what we call the proxy fight. It's a very common thing in big corporations when there's a problem. And there are some different strategies against these unwanted takeovers. These are not very important. These are detailed, but sometimes, for example, let's look at one of them. The poison pill. You want to buy my company? I am just making the company less valuable, okay, for the potential raiders. I just give some damage to the company for the new investors not to buy it, okay? Could be, and sometimes they are doing that. And sometimes, for example, you want to buy my shares. I don't want you to be my partner. I have found some other my friends and I sell my shares to him. So you cannot buy the company. I mean, some other friends come, they call them white knight, and rescue the company. So guys, this is the end of the slides, but it's important for you to note that these corporate strategies are very common in the United States, but not that common in Turkey. I mean, in Turkey, only a few companies, few corporations have these distinguishing between shareholders and top managers, okay? Generally, many companies, many corporations, the shareholders are actually running the business, okay? So it's the American context. I mean, in Turkish context, it's somehow different. Of course, big holdings like Koç Holding, Sabancı Holding, Zorlu, these kind of companies are actually corporations. They apply these kind of structures, but many of the other middle level corporations generally does not apply these kind of distinguishments very well. Not that well structured. However, you need to know, I mean, as a business student, you need to know the details of this. So this is the end of the slide. Do you want to ask questions about these ownership styles? Any questions? Okay, I am stopping the recording then. Okay.